everybody, I'm Jessie the Lookout, and today we're talking about Game of Thrones, Season 5, Episode 6, Unbowed, Unbent, Unbroken. This is your spoiler warning. I talk about the show, and I also talk about what happened into the books up until this point in the show. So if you're not caught up, or you haven't read the books yet, now is your chance to turn back. Also, I swear, a lot. I can't fucking help it. Or, I could help it, I'm not going to. I'm too tasteless for that. Okay, so, wow. This episode, you guys. I have a lot of feelings about what happened, so let's start with Arya in Braavos, head south to hang out with Jorah and Tyrion, head west to Dorne, because I have to, and then go to King's Landing, and then head north to finish up with Sansa in Winterfell. Okay, let's go. We open the episode with Arya perfecting her corpse washing skills, which is more or less where we left her off the last time we saw her. But at this point, she's become systematic about it. She's started to perfect her corpse washing skills. Ballard, though Harris, she's learning how to serve. There are two scenes of people washing hair in this episode. One with Arya and the corpses, and the other with Sansa and Miranda in the north. I'm not sure if this is meant to, symbolize anything, but I think it's interesting to compare where Arya is and where Sansa is in relation to this kind of tiny little theme. Arya is a servant. She washes dead people. She is in service to the House of Black and White. Sansa, on the other hand, is coming into her position of power. She is the one being waited on. And I just think that's neat to think about, since they are sisters. From this quick shot of Arya tapping her thumbs, we can tell she's still as impatient as ever. For a second it seems like she's about to level up, but the waif appears just to, ruin her good day. Arya demands to play the game of faces, but having no idea what it is, when the waif tries to test her, Arya is completely clueless. With Arya, she's just kind of putting in time until she can complete her list and, finish her own objectives and her own desires. But the thing about the House of Black and White is that you are no longer in service of yourself. You're in service of the many-faced god. But her impatience is obvious to the waif and especially to Jaqen. Arya gets her chance to shine when the man and his daughter show up and ask Arya to end her suffering. So Arya lies. She puts on a new identity like she has so many times before, at least in the books. And she gives the little girl the gift of mercy. This is kind of a big deal, because the faith of the many-faced god was birthed in the slaving pits of Valyria, where the slaves were so miserable in all their different languages and all their different cultures, they all begged their individual god for death. The founder of the Faithless Men recognized that these different iterations of death were all representation of the same thing, and of course that's the god of death. It doesn't matter what form death takes, the end result is pretty much the same. So now the Order strives to serve their god by giving the gift of mercy to anyone who asks for it, and for a price they'll assassinate anyone in the world that you want, but only that one person. Like, say for example, if a target has guards, they're not going to kill the guards in order to get to that person. It's their job to find a way to only assassinate the person that they've been assigned, the person that the many-faced god has asked them to sacrifice. Like their god, the Faceless Men have no identity of their own, and so they don't pick those they choose to give the gift to. And this is why Arya is having such a hard time becoming no one, is because she can't let go of Arya Stark and the dreams and the desires and the vengeance that Arya Stark herself needs in her very core. This, of course, leads us to the money scene. Oh my god, look at it! This isn't quite how I imagined it in the books, but I love this. I love it. I'm a little disappointed with them for the crappy lighting, but this is badass. Countless faces everywhere. Like, I hope they go into more detail about how they use the faces, because we've seen Jaqen change his face almost instantly 2 times now. So it'll be interesting to see how he's able to do that so quickly when, the faces are hanging up on the wall and stuff. So that might need a little bit of more explanation, but this is fucking great. This means that Arya is going to begin her training as a Faceless Man. And I am so excited. But that's it. That's all we get for Arya this episode. Just one more look at the Room of Many Faces. A+. Well, in my heart I want to say A+, but it's really more like A-, because that lighting, guys, let me look at it. Somewhere between Valeria and Marine, Jorah and Tyrion decide to go on a picnic. Just kidding, Jorah still has grayscale. Tyrion's getting all bitchy about only eating berries, and Jorah's like, bitch, do you know how many fucking assholes I would have killed for berries while I was traveling from one end of the Red Waste to the other? Be grateful for your fucking berries. I like the face Jorah gives Tyrion after Tyrion reveals why he left King's Landing. It's like...
That's rough, buddy.
This scene and the next scene blend really well into each other. We have Tyrion being told to shut his fucking gob, and then we have him kind of just like very tastelessly letting Jorah know that his father is dead, but then immediately in the next scene, Tyrion is able to use his howling screamer to get them out of hot water, because that's what Tyrion does best. He runs his mouth a lot. When he puts his mind to it, it's extremely beneficial. He's very good at talking himself out of death. Really, these scenes are just their attempt at developing the relationship between Jorah and Tyrion, because even though, you know, Jorah insists that they're not traveling companions, like, I think they're gonna slowly become pals. And the show is trying to get us to sympathize with Jorah a little bit more, even though technically he's hiding the fact that he has grayscale and he has a hard-on for a 15-year-old girl. But granted, again, like, we know why Jorah loves Dany so much, but it's important for Tyrion to understand why Daenerys is someone worth fighting for. Someone that they can believe in. Oh look, slavers! I bet this plotline lasts, 2 episodes. 3 tops. Maximum 15 minutes of screen time. But fortunately, our boys in Dirty Yellow get put on the fast track to Marine, which is good, because as much as I enjoyed the Tyrion and Jorah banter contest, I'm not sure I could have handled a 4th episode of them just walking around and spouting exposition. We got places to be, boys! Oh, do I have to talk about Dorne? Alright, let's do it. Tristan and Myrcella are your classic teens who make out in secret all the time, and he's like, come on, let's do it! And Myrcella's like, bro, are you kidding? We live in a fictionalized fantasy medieval Europe, where women are valued for their ability to provide lands and hymens. What? You guys didn't have that conversation with your boyfriends, girlfriends, or otherwise identifiers? Dorne gushes slightly about how cute they are, and holy shit, is Dorne in a fucking wheelchair? Yeah! Oh yeah, Gouty Doran, yeah! He's got a wheelchair in the books, and, you know, he's also, like, older and less hot, but it's, you know, it's the little things. Cut to Jaime and Bronn road tripping it in the hills. More or less unremarkable, except this line.
This song really is all about the ending.
We can wait.
Hey, come on, Dan and David. When I heard this line, I have expected Bronn to wink at the camera. The ending is not the point of the story. People don't start reading a book and then get excited to finish it. It's about the journey. You can't have the beginning and the end be the same, then fuck up the middle and then call it a good adaptation. It's not the goddamn point of the series.
Unbowed, unbent, unbroken.
Hey, that's the name of the episode. None of those are your words. You're sands, not martels. As desperately as you want to be. When it comes to the Sand Snakes, I have no idea what they're doing. What are they gonna do with Myrcella? Is this the writer's attempt at intrigue? Because I'm not into it. I wanted the Sand Snakes to be badass, and I think they're trying to make them unpredictable. But like what? Like snakes? Are snakes supposed to be unpredictable? Because, like, snakes tend to strike with precision and accuracy, and right now, they just look like blundering idiots to me. Maybe I'm just being extremely harsh because I had hoped that they would be as developed as Oberyn was. Who the fuck fights with a bullwhip? Does that make sense? Is that practical? I know I'm undereducated when it comes to battle strategy, but I feel like a bullwhip in close combat isn't going to work as well as the show would like to think it would. I don't know. Bam, bam, take this, you meanie!
I am Obara Sand, daughter of Oberyn Martell. I fight for Dorne. Who do you fight for?
Oh my god, Obara, stop. Please, you're sabotaging the plans of your prince. Doran Martell is a master strategist, and these kind of lines are just, oh, they're bad. I don't like them. Because, like, nobody gives a shit who your dad was. You are literally just trying to capture the Baratheon princess for reasons that nobody understands. Put down the fucking spear. Okay, so Jamie, Braun, and the Sand Snakes and Ilaria are all arrested. Okay, we're done. We're done. Let's go to King's Landing. Our first scene in King's Landing is Peter Baelish being introduced to the brand new powerhouse in King's Landing, the Faith Militant. Obviously, Peter is extremely capable of outmaneuvering somebody as, like, as lowbrow as Lancelot Lannister, but that's not why we're here right now. Peter tries to convince Cersei that arming the Faith Militant was a terrible fucking idea, but Cersei thinks that if she just keeps playing innocent, that nobody's gonna realize what her plan is or bring up the fact that she's been fucking her brother. As Peter Baelish reminds us with this little line.
One's choice of companion is a curious thing.
Ugh, Cersei, you are so dumb sometimes. Peter lies to Cersei about the alliance of House Bolton and House Arryn and says that his sources have placed Sansa Stark in Winterfell with the Boltons again. This might not seem like a super great idea, but Peter Baelish is the type who thrives in chaos. And by revealing this information, he can practically guarantee that Cersei is going to react blindly because she is not a patient woman. Of course, when the dust clears, he's hoping that he can marry Sansa Stark and become Warden of the North. Even if this wasn't a completely ridiculous idea, there's no way the northern houses are going to support Baelish's claim. Maybe if he's lucky, Ramsay will eat shit in the battle against Stannis, but that is not something you should be hinging your plan on. I mean, like, personally, I don't see it happening that cleanly for him, but then again, he is a piece of garbage, and pieces of garbage tend to do really well in this series, so he'll probably get everything he wants. Lady Olenna, yay! When the Queen of Thorns visits Cersei, we can see her trying her damnedest to put on her best Tywin Lannister impression. But the difference is, Tywin knew who his friends were and who he should respect and trust. Cersei thinks that by playing Lady Olenna off, that, like, what? Olenna will be intimidated by her? Does she think that trying to intimidate her mother-in-law and the supplier of the majority of the food in King's Landing months before winter gets here, that's gonna work out for her somehow? Cersei is flaunting her power because she doesn't know how to wield it otherwise. She thinks that by saying it and pretending that she has the most of it, that people will just believe her and follow in line. But this is not Olenna's first time at the rodeo, and I would not fuck around with someone like that. I mean, like, we know that she killed Joffrey, but, like, oh god, people don't get titles like Queen of Thorns by accident, Cersei. My god. Like I said, everyone knows that Cersei's the one who armed the Faith, and it was Cersei's actions that led to Loras's arrest. She wants to smite House Tyrell in an attempt to stay on top because she is living in constant fear of the younger and more beautiful queen who she thinks right now is Marjorie. But the problem is that she refuses to accept the reality of her situation. And that is that being diplomatic does not mean pissing off everyone around you.
And the famous tart, Queen Cersei.
Ugh, I love you, Olenna. Never leave me. Immediately afterwards, we're able to see the inquest of Loras. The big surprise here isn't that he was arrested. Who didn't see that coming for some reason? But it's that the Faith was able to slyly perjure Marjorie and get her arrested as well. Tommen, do you think you're ever gonna get laid again after that pathetic display? Your queen is being arrested and you just let her go? Granted, we did have that scene where Tommen was seriously intimidated by the Faith. But man, good luck ever seeing those boobs again. One thing though, there's no actual proof that Loras and Oliver slept together. Oliver was his squire. He could have seen him naked when he was dressing him or just hanging out. I don't know, what did knights and squires do? There are lots of reasons that Oliver could have seen Loras's birthmark. That is some weak evidence, you guys. Or alternatively, I am seeing a second team up between Peter and House Tyrell, because that worked out really well for them last time. They both have issues with Cersei and the church. So, Finally, we go north to see Sansa's beautiful wedding, where she gets married to Ramsay and they live happily ever after. Just kidding! I'm really fucking glad I picked this season to vlog about Game of Thrones. Okay, so I don't feel completely comfortable talking about this subject on my main channel publicly because I want my channel to be a fun place with a really positive atmosphere, but since Dan and David enjoy ruining the things we love, I've decided to make a separate video talking about my feelings pertaining this scene. If you're interested in hearing what I have to say, you can click this link or the link in the description to go to an unlisted video. I'm doing this because 90% of my audience is male, and talking about rape culture to Reddit is like kicking the hornet's nest. So, in an attempt to avoid being harassed, I'm just gonna leave that here, and you can go there and watch it, and then leave any polite comments with your thoughts over there. That's fine. Or you can even leave your thoughts about this scene on this video in these comments. That's fine. Like, wherever you want to talk about it. And obviously, I'm going to be talking about things like rape and victimization, so if you need it, that's your trigger warning. I guess one thing we can say about the sequence is that the snow is really pretty. Oh, wait. That means that winter is here. And winter means that awful things happen. Including the rape of one of my favorite characters. I guess, like, A+ for Alfie Allen for doing an amazing job throughout this all of his Theon and Reek scenes. They're all great. He's doing a great job. I hope he gets an award for this performance. And really, that's the whole episode. That last scene has got some pretty heavy stuff in it, for sure. I mean, it's mostly fun times right up until then, right? I feel like things are starting to move a bit quicker with some of the characters, which is good. Oh, no John or Danny this episode. I think my favorite part, other than getting to the bottom of the House of Black and White, was probably Jorah and Tyrion's scenes, just because they're so funny and they're so cute. I didn't enjoy them as much, but like now that we're starting to talk about other things and their story's starting to move along a little bit, like, they're pretty. I like them. I enjoy their dynamic. I'm wondering, like, what it's like to be a show watcher and to see Jorah and Tyrion team up. Like, that seems completely random. Not, like, if you look at the beginning of the series and you're like, hey, by the way, J-Bear and Tyrion, they're gonna be bros. Like, that's kind of weird. I'm trying really hard to be upbeat because I'm really fucking sad about the Sansa scene. But I mean, like, with that said, more Arya and Sansa, please. I know that Meryn Trant is in Bravo soon, and I haven't seen that confrontation yet. Come on, come on. Whatever happened to the zombie guy behind Qyburn? I guess we'll find out before the end of the season, hopefully. Sansa in white, Ramsay in black. Coincidence? Probably not. Personally, I think that Theon should have been wearing his Greyjoy colors, but I think with everybody wearing black and then Sansa wearing whites, they might have been trying to isolate her more than she already is. Anyway, that's all I have to say about Game of Thrones this week. Thanks for joining me. Heavy stuff this week. Maybe next week we'll be a little bit more upbeat? I doubt it. Thanks for watching, everybody. I really appreciate you guys giving me your time and allowing me the ability to just kind of talk about Game of Thrones to my heart's content. If you guys have any ideas or theories about what could happen next, go ahead and leave those in the comments down below. I love reading your comments. If you enjoyed this video, you can give it a like and check out my channel for other stuff that I do. I do comic reviews, outfit videos, unboxings. In the future, I'm hoping to do more Game of Thrones related that are less rewindy. As usual, if you want to follow me on social media, I have Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram. I'm sitting in a boring chair this week because my cat has usurped the chair I normally sit in, and she's just too cute, so I didn't want to bug her. Thanks again for watching, and as we say in my hometown, Valor Morgulis.